Good morning. Happy Monday, everybody. I think this is working. Oh, great. I'm on two platforms right now. So this is happening. You don't need to know that. Hi, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Mondays with Maeve. And it's so great to have you here if you're joining live and or watching the replay. And I hope wherever you are is bringing you comfort and particularly for me on this gloomy day, it's very introspective. So I'm really happy to be coming to you with all the things I have to share today. So I'm wishing you lots of warmth and comfort wherever you might be around the world. And today I actually wanted to kick off a series that has been eagerly brewing inside of me entitled Travel Wisdom. And a large portion of my desire to launch this series has had to do with not only the recent travels that I've had, but also just the longer journey of me as a world traveler, and all that those things have brought about and have taught me and have really shown me in various different circumstances and periods of life. In addition to presenting certain challenges, and I feel like for me brought about a certain amount of wisdom. So that's kind of why I decided to entitle the series Travel Wisdom, because for me, and excuse me while I get comfortable, for me, whenever I have stayed in one place in my life, I've never felt like I've gotten the opportunity to like expand and grow and learn new things and put myself in perhaps more uncomfortable positions so that I was forced to really like, challenge certain beliefs, challenge certain ways that I felt were the way of life or the way in which other people in other parts of the world thought. And what I realized is that actually traveling and being amidst different parts of the world and cultures and traditions and thought processes can really expand you as a human being. And so I felt like it would be a waste if I didn't share a lot of kind of like the takeaways and pieces of my journeys during my travels have impacted myself and therefore could possibly help someone else. So with that being said, the first theme that I wanted to kind of jump in today during my Mondays with Maeve is entitled Learning How to Navigate Constant Change. And when I've experienced travel and when I've experienced constantly looking to navigate my career path in both music and business, the one thing that's been constant has been change, has been things shifting and moving and speaking different languages or trying to understand different cultures, and really getting to the place where I have like a deep acceptance for constant change and constant like movement and repositioning and almost readjusting to not only the places that I would be traveling to, but also the people that I would be encountering and the situations that I would be presented with. And for someone who perhaps, not necessarily myself, but for anyone out there that is like, used to a routine or used to a particular way of understanding certain things or a particular way of, traveling or communicating or eating or speaking or, having a discussion, or even something as simple as like, polite courtesies that are in your culture. You learn that around the globe or in different situations, predicaments, that actually those are different depending on where you are. And so to be more malleable in this way of things constantly changing and never really being necessarily predictable, and therefore never really being comfortable, to me has been an essential part of being a member of the global community in a variety of circumstances. And particularly as a musician, you find yourself, collaborating with many people who are from, different cultures, different backgrounds, right, different upbringings. And in order for one to understand those differences better, it helps to have almost a blank slate of navigation, that it's going to be different. The expectation that it's going to be something that maybe you're not familiar with, something that is going to surprise you or offend you or make you uncomfortable or kind of stir things up. And in my particular experience, I would say in the past few years when I've traveled, there's been more times than not where I've been like super, impacted by certain cultures that have really like touched my heart and penetrated me in a way that have motivated me to want to be a better person, want to be a more present human being, a friend and a sister and a daughter and a partner in life. And then there's been other things that have been less motivating to want to change my perspective. But I feel like every aspect, though, is really valuable, because every piece that brings us something, whether it's what we foresee or what we kind of like perceive as positive or negative, is actually there serving our highest good, right? Is there serving us in a way to like be able to mold ourselves more in a way to have this malleability and flexibility, so that we might be able to receive some other gifts that are maybe coming our way. And so again, how to navigate these constant shifts and constant changes in life, not just while one is traveling, I think comes down to a couple different things. And one is knowing that you are not right, or you're not always right. So approaching any sort of circumstance, and again, this doesn't have to be that you're traveling, but if you're in a workplace or in a work environment, or you're in a new circumstance with new people, or you happen to be traveling and are visiting like a new location that you haven't been to, approaching it not in the sense that like what you say is authority or what you say is, the be all end all, but being open about what may be there for you to learn, being open in the possibility of like, what might I not know yet that could actually contribute to my better understanding of, culture, history, people, dynamics, and the like. And so having this kind of like almost humility in a sense of, wow, there's something that I don't know, and I very well may learn through my encounters or interactions or exposure to things that I'm not familiar with. And so having that kind of open mind really can impact you in a sense where you actually have a better asset going forward, or you have a better position of being able to relate to other people or relate to different situations. So to me, that's definitely been a really helpful tool of navigating that constant shift. The other one is that not everything that offends you is personal. So a lot of the time when we are in positions trying to speak a different language, or we're trying to speak to even cultures that necessarily we're really not familiar with. There are definitely times for me where I've gotten like super offended. I'll give you one pure example, which is when I was in Germany this last time. People love to tailgate you. They love to like ride up your ass. And in my experience, in my background in the US, this has not been the case. I mean, I would say in general, if you ride someone's ass, it's definitely speaking a certain message, like basically get the F out of my way, right? Like I'm more important than you, so get out of my way. But of course, that's why we have speed limits and we have fast lane, slow lane. However, in Germany, on the main highways, there are no speed limits. So people who wish to drive at an exorbitantly faster rate than most people, will definitely find their way on your tail to make you move. And I just noticed, like, as I had moments of driving, that it really, like, it bothered me. There was like a lot of that energy that I just like couldn't quite compute, that it wasn't personal. Like I just felt like I was being, if I was thinking, if we were not in cars and there was a person behind me physically, I would feel that. And I've been in that situation too, where I've been like at an airport where someone is just like physically right up against me, and I kind of like turn around like, hello, like, do you want to go ahead of me? Or, a lot of the time that's actually how I found a solution in that type of interaction. It's like, you go ahead, because if you're in a hurry, you're much better in front of me than behind me. And so similarly, I had to have the same kind of interpretation and understanding of that type of dynamic, because again, something that like initially would have offended me, I had to not take personal. And it was just something that for me, was I willing to like get all like riled up about how I just can't stand fast German drivers, or was just like, I'm just not going to be a fast driver. And so that can speak to various other scenarios that is where we may be offended. It's not necessarily personal, right? It's just a difference and an adjustment. And in reality, if we are in a particular environment over time, over and over, it definitely becomes, normalized. It definitely becomes something that is it just kind of like we recalibrate and we reset. So that's kind of like my second tool, is like, again, things that we find offensive, just not taking them personally. And then the third for me about like learning how to like navigate constant change in travel is grounding. And I can't speak enough. I probably should have started that with that first. I can't speak like highly enough around how grounding can really be the essential focal point of anyone moving around or trying to navigate constant change or constant moving parts. And again, this doesn't have to speak for just travel. This has to go with like changing jobs, moving, relationships changing, starting a new venture, even loss, if there's some loss that you're experiencing. Grounding, finding a way to ground yourself is like of the essence. And again, just speaking in terms of my time in travels in Germany, I just use as a reference. They have these amazing spas and like really good ways in which to like just like kind of like get your body like taken care of and soaked up, and it's like very much a part of the culture. Not soaked up, I'm soaked up, but just just completely like wrapping you around in comfort and in health. And so that was something that was really important for me to like be engaged with in that culture. But there are other things in various other cultures, such as when I was in, Bali, they have massages very much a part of like their sensual, communication with each other as humans. And I don't mean sensual in a sexual way. I just mean in terms of like a very much a connection, of recognizing each other on each journey and each, piece of their day or their kind of like course of, what might be going on. And so so like physical touch is like very essential in their culture, in an Indonesian culture. So that was something that I partook when I was there, like every day. And so like grounding can even be like walking in nature, being in nature, being close to animals. Everyone has a different source of grounding, but for me, those were definitely particular pieces of how I engaged in grounding activities that really helped center me when things possibly seemed a bit chaotic, right? If there are a lot of like moving parts, or if I'm moving in a lot of different directions. So yeah, those are my tidbits for today with Mondays with Maeve, my travel wisdom series, which I'm really excited to be launching right now. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson about learning how to navigate constant change, and I look forward to the next time. Bye for now.